In less than a month, the college basketball season will begin. We preview the conference favorites in men's basketball and how the team's expectations are making scheduling a continuing challenge. We hear the latest on the UNI wrestling, soccer, and women's basketball teams. We find out how a new format to the conference volleyball season will impact fans and the teams. And we salute a volleyball senior that says goodbye without taking the floor as a senior.